Al Capone Does My Shirts, A Tale from Alcatraz, chapters 26 to 30. Chapter 26, Convict Baseball. Same day, Wednesday, April 24th, 1935. Natalie? My mouth tries to say, but my throat is closed up tight. No sound comes out. I run down, my arms flying, helter-skelter, the shale sliding. She has to be here. Maybe she's scouting for more stones. That's it. I look down by the small rocky beach. A crab scuttles out from under a rock. Men on a nearby ferry are laughing. The sound is eerily loud, though the boat is far away. She isn't there. Over by the red berry bushes, no. Back by the greenhouse, no. Which way do I go? I stop and listen. A voice. Sounds. Behind me. I spin and run toward the voice. Natalie? I crash the thicket, and then I see her, Natalie, sitting on a rock with someone, a man. He's wearing a denim shirt and denim pants. A con? Is Natalie sitting with a con? The scream is stuck in my throat, choking me. Don't look away. Don't blink. Don't blink. The con is smiling. He's missing a front tooth. There are dark, greased comb marks in his hair. I wonder about this. Inmates aren't allowed hair pomade. Suddenly, this seems very important. Why is he wearing pomade in his hair? Maybe he isn't a con. Please, God, don't let him be a con. I haven't even looked at Natalie. I'm afraid to take my eyes off the guy in the denim shirt. I think somehow I can protect her this way. But now I watch her too. She's smiling. Sometimes Nat looks concerned or sad or raging mad. The best she ever looks is interested. But here is my sister, Natalie Flanagan, looking happy. Hey, Moose. The con's voice is scratchy and an octave too high, like a girl's almost. You want this? He reaches inside the coat draped over his leg. He has a gun. I can't breathe. He's going to shoot, but then I see. Information seeps into my brain. It isn't a gun. It's a baseball. Suddenly, my throat opens up. Get away. Get the heck away. Go, go. That's my sister. Get away from her. I scream as the 4 o'clock count whistle blows. The con jumps and Natalie smiles. Like some kind of rare bird sighting slips away. Take it easy, fella. I got your baseball, didn't I? The con says. He nods at me and he turns to Natalie. Bye, sweetie. He closes Natalie's fingers around the baseball and fast walks away. Do not call her sweetie, I shout. His pace is uneven, like one leg shorter than the other. Then I see the number stamped on the back of his denim shirt. 105. Chapter 27. Idiot. Same day, Wednesday, April 24th, 1935. Nothing happened. I say this out loud, and I shut up the voice in my head. My teeth are chattering like I'm cold. They were just sitting there. There's no law against that, but I can't stop thinking what the warden told me the first week we came here. Some of these convicts haven't seen a woman in 10 or 15 years. I think you're old enough to understand what that means. I was only gone 2 minutes, 3 minutes maybe. No more. No more. Nothing happened. The words go round and round in my head like the wheels of a car rolling over the slats of a bridge. But it was more than 3 minutes, way more. I left right after 3 o'clock count whistle. I returned before the next. I was probably gone 45 minutes. No. I left way after the 3 o'clock whistle. It was only 10 minutes. No more. Calm down, I tell myself. Nothing happened. My mind flashes on the greasy-haired con holding my sister's hand, and the sick feeling comes over me. My mouth tastes like curdled milk. I don't know what happened. I wasn't there. I'm so upset I can hardly see where I'm going. Natalie is pulling back, trying to go slow. I tug her along. I don't care what she wants. We're almost to the west stairs now, and I'm not even sure how we got here. It's like I dreamed the distance. How did he know my name? How did he know what I was looking for? He had that ball with him. He must have known before. 105 or 105. That was the number that didn't make sense. Idiot! I am an idiot! Natalie must have said something the last time. The last time we were over here. Could that be? He must have left before I saw him then. Probably meant to today. But he brought the ball. Insurance, I guess. Figured he could buy me off. I gripped Natalie's arm so tight it feels as if I'm holding bone. She tries to twist her arm away, but I'm not about to let go. Ever. She balks, stops, refuses to be half-dragged when we both know she follows just fine without this. But I won't give her even this much freedom. What's the matter with you? Don't you know the first thing about anything? I scream. Come on, can't you just walk with me for once? Almost there, almost there. I'm going to cry, and I'm sure as heck don't want to do it out here. I pray Teresa isn't there waiting. I don't want to find her sitting outside the door. We turn the corner to our landing, and my chest falls. Someone is there. Piper. Oh man, just what I need. Piper's hat is tipped to the side. She's watching me out of the corner of her eyes. You were chewing out Natalie. You were yelling at her, Piper says. I wasn't. Yes, you were. I heard you. You never yell at her. What's going on? She demands. I keep my mouth shut and I stare at the doorknob, wishing I could get Piper out of the way. Piper looks at Natalie. Natalie is rubbing her chin on her shoulder faster than normal, as if she's upset too. Have I done this? Or was it 105? She seemed happy, that greasy-haired con, so it was probably me. Sweet Jesus, Piper whistles one long note. You found a ball? That's one of ours, isn't it? She holds her hand out to Natalie. Natalie can be very possessive of her things. She would never give anyone a rock or a button. I think Piper will be in for a fight. But no. Natalie plops the ball in Piper's hand, easy as can be. Where did you find it? I don't look at Piper in the face. I feel like I held my sister hostage for that stupid ball. I won't touch it. It's dirty. The last thing in the world I want to tell anyone how we got it. and Piper is 10 times worse than anyone. How could I have let this happen? 105, Natalie says. I say nothing. It feels like all the blood is draining out of my face. I'm lightheaded. Please, Piper, be as stupid as I was. Piper is frowning. She's trying to understand. Do not figure this out. Do not figure this out. 105 what? Piper asks. She pushes the brim of her hat back as if to see better. She is staring intently at Natalie. Natalie says nothing. Good, Natalie. We gotta go inside. I touch the door. It feels good, that door. I can almost hear the sound it will make when it slams shut. Come on. 105 what? Is it how many places you looked? What? Piper asks. She's standing firm between me and the door. Her hands are crossed in front of her, and the frilly blouse she wore to school is tucked inside her overalls. Even as upset as I am right now, some part of me registers how cute she is, because I haven't heard of a ball going over in months. I didn't think you'd find one, Piper says. Thanks a lot, I snort. You could have told me that. You know I've been looking. I'm your babysitter now, too? Pocket, Natalie says, picking wildly at her shoulder. Pocket? Piper asks. Usually I don't like it when people talk to Natalie through me. I'm not a ventriloquist, and Natalie isn't my dummy. But today I want her mute. She doesn't mean anything by that, I lie. Yellow buttons, Natalie says, taking 2 buttons out of her pocket. Natalie's upset we need to go inside. I try to edge Piper out of the way, but Piper isn't budging. Stop, Natalie. You have to tell me. Piper recrosses her arms in front of her chest. She's pulling rank. Only Natalie couldn't care less whose daughter Piper is. 105, Natalie says. 105 buttons? Piper squints. She looks at Natalie, and then me, and then Natalie again. A big, slow smile pours across her face. Oh, sweet Jesus, you don't mean... I twist the knob and I try to knee open our door. You got a con to give you a ball, didn't you? How did you do that? And who the heck is AZ105? Somebody on the dock? I have to know. I have the door open and I'm trying to pull Natalie inside while keeping Piper out. Was it a waiter in the officers' club? Was it? Natalie, come on. Wow, Moose, I never thought you'd do something like this, she smiles big. My insides boil up and I barely restrain myself from slugging her. I push Natalie inside our apartment and then I try to get past Piper. What did you give him for the ball? Piper asks. I've got my shoulders in and I'm trying to close the door now. If only I can get Piper's fingers out of here. Come on, you must have given him something, Piper asks. Move your hand and shut up, I cry. This is amazing, Piper says, her eyes glowing. I've never seen her so excited. I think maybe he could get autographs too, Moose, because Al Capone's signature is worth a fortune. This is the beginning, Moose. No, this is the end. I shut the door in her face. Chapter 28. Tall for her age. Same day, Wednesday, April 24th, 1935. The thing to do is come clean. Talk to my mom, talk to my dad, tell him. They'll understand. It was an accident. 3 minutes, 5 minutes most. My mom said to treat Natalie like she's a regular sister. Well, I certainly would leave a regular sister for 5 minutes. My mom can't be mad. Together we'll work out the right thing to do so this will never happen again. I can hear my mom's footsteps on the landing. She bursts in the door. Look, Moose! She waves the newspaper in the air. She slaps it down on the table. See, didn't I tell you what a wonderful program they have here? It's world famous. Look, it says it right here. New Hope for Kids with Mental Deficiencies, the headline reads. There is a picture of Mr. Purdy standing in front of the Esther P. Marinoff and a small close-up of a boy. Tom, age 10, was mute when he came to the Esther B. Marinoff, but now he speaks in simple sentences and reads at a third-grade level, the caption reads. The article is filled with quotes from experts. The program is quite extraordinary. It's modeled after a school in Switzerland run by the behaviorist Emil Binder. I skimmed down to see what Mr. Purdy has to say. Entrance to the school is highly selective. We have a small number of spaces for kids who are truly ready for the kind of opportunities we offer. Children start at the Esther P. Marinoff when they are 7 to 12 years of age, and they typically graduate at 18. Mr. Purdy says, how old does Mr. Purdy think Natalie is? Does he really believe that she's 10? My mom has taken off her green hat and her green coat, and she has begun to make supper. Every minute or so, she comes back to the table to read part of the article again. It's as if the newsprint is warm and my mother's hands are very cold. Natalie is on the living room floor reading my math book like it's the newspaper. Mom, I need to talk to you, I say. Okay, honey, she smiles. I can't wait to tell your dad about this. And do you know what else? My mom claps her hands. Mrs. Kelly says Natalie is really improving. She's going to write her a flying color recommendation. That's what she said, flying colors. My mom hugs me. She's so happy she would hug the salt shaker if it was only taller. Your sister is going to be okay. She's going to be fine. But Mom, I say, it says no kids are accepted after the age of 12. My mother freezes. She's so still, it looks like she's stopped breathing. Natalie is 10, Moose. You know that. Her voice has a catch in it. You can't be 10 for 5 years in a row, I whisper. Moose! My mother cries. Her eyes are like teeth tearing into me. I remember that funny look Mr. Purdy had on his face when he asked if Natalie was 10. All I see in my head is Natalie holding hands with a grown man. I can't stand this anymore, Mom, I say. She's tall for her age. What's gotten into you? I look down at the article. I need to talk to you. Fine, we'll talk tonight. Your dad will be home any minute. Didn't I already say that? She slams down the square pan. It makes a tiny sound against the counter. Now I wish I hadn't said anything at all to my mom. I should have just talked to my dad about this. When my father walks in the door, my mother rushes to meet him. Cam, look. She hands New Hope for Kids with Mental Deficiencies to my father. This is the red letter day. My father agrees. He takes my mom in his arms and he does a little jig in the kitchen. I can't stand to watch this. I head for my room. Hey, Moose, my father says later at night when Natalie is in bed. Mom said you want to talk to us? Yeah, I say, my heart beating loud and guilty in my chest. I close my book, wishing they had forgotten. I don't think it's safe for Nat to follow me around, I say. My mother stares at me like she can't believe what I've just said. But Moose, she's doing so well. Carrie Kelly thinks we shouldn't change one thing because being out with you kids and working one-to-one with her is the best possible. Something happened. I feel nothing when I say it, like my mouth is talking all by itself. They wait. What happened? My dad asks. He touches my arm gently. My mind is scrambling. How can I tell them without really telling them? I don't think it's safe for her on this island. She doesn't understand stuff. It's dangerous. What happened? My father asks again. A con noticed her today, I say. My words feel like they are weighted down with stones. My father sighs and sticks a toothpick in his mouth. Well, I can't say I'm surprised, Moose, but I understand how upsetting it would be. My mother glares at him. A con whistled at her, is that it? She's a pretty little girl, your sister. I wish I had a penny for every time some guy whistled at me. Let's not lose sight of what's important here. Honey, wait. My father takes her arm again. No, you wait. Natalie is getting better. Do you know what she said yesterday? She said, you made me sad. Do you think I like making her sad? I don't, but she's never said anything like that to me before. What is 55,031 times 59,032? Does May 16th fall on a Wednesday in 1914? This, she said, but never you. Not mommy, you, a pronoun. I've been trying to get Natalie to use pronouns her whole life. And feelings. She said something she felt. Natalie is communicating with us. This is so important. There's no way she'll be turned down from the Esther P. Marinoff now. It's dangerous, Mom. Dangerous. Nothing on this island is half as dangerous as having her locked in her own world. Not one half, not 1/4, not 1/10 as dangerous as that. So I'm not, do you to hear me, not going to change one single thing about Natalie's day. Things are going too well, and Moose, I won't have you sulking inside with her all afternoon. This smarts. I can't believe she said this. I've been taking her with me everywhere. I haven't been sulking. No, of course not. My father hands cup my neck. You've been a major reason why Natalie is doing so well, and your mother and I understand that. My mother glares at my father. She's really angry now, but I am too. No matter how hard I work, it's never enough. She walks out of the room and then back again. The entrance interviews for the Esther P. Marinoff are only 4 weeks away. We're so close. I don't want anything to go wrong. Her voice cracks. Calm down, honey. Nothing is going to go wrong, my father says. It's not. Moose, he turns to me. Thanks for bringing this to our attention, but I need to talk to your mom for a minute alone. Chapter 29, Convict Choir Boy, Wednesday, May 1st, 1935. The next week I do my best to stay away from Piper, but the more I steer clear, the more she seems to want to be around me. She's planning something. Watch yourself, Annie tells me on Monday. On Wednesday, I find out that Piper has given Scout 105's baseball. And then she stopped talking to Scout. I guess she doesn't need him anymore, and Scout doesn't seem to care, which surprises me even more. You can have her, Moose, he tells me while we're warming up for our lunch game. She's more trouble than she's worth. Oh, great, I say. Gee, thanks. I think she's googly-eyed for you anyway, he says. No, she isn't, I tell him. Scout nods his head. You like her too, and you know it. I don't know what you're talking about, I tell him. It isn't possible to like someone I dislike as much as Piper. It didn't used to be possible anyway. So, Moose, we're friends, right? Piper corners me as I come out of the bathroom right after the last bell at school. Whatever you say, Piper. I pick up my books and head out the door into the bright sunshine. And friends help each other, right? I don't like the sound of this. I need your help. She touches my hand. I close my eyes. I blow air out of my mouth and I walk faster. She keeps pace with me. I want your help with 105. You have an in now. Natalie does anyway. You're unbelievable. I spit the words out at her. Moose, wait. Come on. I don't want to talk to you, Piper. I just don't. I keep walking fast, my head down. This is going to help you too, because otherwise you'll always wonder. You'll never know what happened between Natalie and 105. I know what happened. I was there, I lie. No, you weren't, she says. Go cram your head in the crapper, Piper. I yell at her in her face and I cross the street to get away from her. How does she know everything? Look, she wheedles, keeping pace with me. You've been driving yourself nuts with this, haven't you, Moose? But we can fix that. We'll let Natalie go to meet 105 and then we'll spy on them. Then you'll know, and if 105 tries anything, you can pound him, right, Moose? Won't that feel good? As far as I'm concerned, 105 doesn't exist. We came so close to getting into the cell house with Mrs. Capone, Piper says. No, we didn't, I say. What if they'd used Jimmy or Teresa to translate instead of Mrs. Madaman? And then they'd need to take them up to the cell house because cons can't talk to visitors in foreign language. What if? None of that even came close to happening. Didn't you learn anything? Just be there. Just be close and it will happen. You can't catch a ball unless you're in the ballpark. Take 105, for example. She tries again. I don't know what you're talking about, I shout, stopping in the middle of the sidewalk. Natalie certainly does. That's all she talks about is 105. I glare at her. How would you know? I heard her one day when she was with your mom. Your mom had no idea what she was talking about, but I knew, Piper says. My neck gets stiff. I can hardly move it. She loves numbers, that's all. That's always what she talks about. I start walking again. Oh, yeah, right. Look, what's the harm of just talking to the guy, 105? No harm, go ahead. You don't need me. You don't need Natalie. Ah, she makes a disgusted noise and cuts in front of me. Well, you don't, I sidestep her. She cuts me off again. There is an odd expression on her face, both eyes looking left, not at anything in particular. What? I ask. She scratches her back. Well, she sighs. Well, what? I tried to talk to 105, but he wouldn't talk to me. No kidding. You know, you really charmed Mrs. Capone, too. I mean, dropping your purse on her toe. What a nice touch. Shut up. What did the guy do anyway? Homicide, kidnapping? I can't stop myself from asking. I don't know, but he's only got 1 more year. Not even that, half a year, I think. That's why he has so much freedom. They figure he wouldn't run with 6 months to go. It wouldn't be worth it to jeopardize that. You think they just let out any convict wandering the place gardening? Plus, the guy, they call him Onion because of the way his hair is greased down. It makes his head look like an onion. He's put together a whole slew of good time, but some kind of Boy Scout choir. Choir boy, I ask? Kind of like you, convict choir boy from the root vegetable family, she smiles. How did you find out? I looked in my dad's files. I couldn't find what he was in for, but I found that he was on gardening detail. I went to the gardens. He was there. Surely if Nat can find him, I could too. Nat's not stupid, I shout. Did I say she was? Say it. Say she's not stupid. She's not stupid, Piper shrugs, and we start walking again. I know I shouldn't talk to her anymore, but I can't help it. I have to know. That's true about him being a good guy? Yep, Piper says. She looks at me square, and then this. I think about what a liar Piper is. Even so, what she says makes sense. Why would they let an escape risk have the run of the place? If he won't talk to you, what makes you think he'll talk to Natalie, I ask. Because he did already, idiot. Geez, Piper, why do you go sticking your nose in this? What are you all bent out of shape about, Piper asks, shifting her books to the other arm. She's not pregnant, right? Piper! For crying out loud. You don't know about the birds and the bees, do you? Shut up, Piper, just shut up. Didn't you ask her at least? Look, this is off limits. I made a flattening gesture with my hands. I just have to keep her safe until the Esther P. Marinoff interview. And then what? And then she'll get in and get better, and we'll all live happily ever after. What if she doesn't get in, though? I mean, she didn't before, right? What makes you think she will this time? This is the question my whole family has been avoiding. Just hearing Piper ask it out loud makes me feel disloyal. She will, I say. My voice comes in a funny jerk. Piper raises her eyebrow and studies me. There's a chapel in the basement of the cell house. If she doesn't get in, then maybe she and 105 can get married. He's getting out soon. Piper, shut up, I shout. Get mad all you want, but it seems perfectly reasonable to me. They could have babies. Shut up! I feel a blinding urge to grab hold of Piper's throat. If she gets in, how long till she starts there? Can you at least tell me that? Piper asks. I don't know for sure. So we better get going, she says. Piper, forget it. Wouldn't you like to know what happened? Her eyes are burrowing inside me now. It's not safe, Piper. Why not? You're going to be right there. We're going to be right there. What is it for you, for goodness sakes? I glare at her. I want to meet Capone. This is just some guy, some criminal choir boy onion guy. It isn't Al Capone. Yeah, but it's a start. Who knows where it will lead? I stare at Piper, those squinty eyes, that cute little movie star mouth, that long straight hair. And then I get it. It isn't just about Al Capone. You like to play with fire. You love being around all of this criminal stuff, don't you? And you don't? I stare out at the water, busy with ferries and fishing boats. Not half as much as you do, I say. Chapter 30. I. Tuesday, May 7th, and Wednesday, May 8th, 1935. All I think about is telling my mom about 105. She'll say ugly things, but then it will be done. I'll never be given this kind of responsibility again. I'll go back to being a kid the way I was before, moving to this stupid turd-covered rock. Natalie will be safe, and we can all move somewhere else. I wouldn't do this in a flash if it weren't for my father. I can't stand to disappoint him again. I try to forget all of this. I try to stop the churning in my mind, but as soon as I do, Natalie mutters, 105. And I'm back into it again. She's always had a number of the week, as my father calls it. It's usually the number of buttons in her collection, or the shoes in my mother's closet, or spools of thread in the drawer. Ever since the day I lost her, the number has been 105. 105, she says almost every day now, her hand on the doorknob and a hard force of her whole self headed out. But somehow I keep her inside. I let her play with her buttons, and I feed her 4 pieces of lemon cake while she sits by the door. On Tuesday, when my mother comes home, she seems to know we've stayed inside again. Of course, I've managed to separate Natalie from her buttons before my mother walks up the stairs from the dock. Even so, my mother knows. And when Natalie refuses to eat one bit of supper, so stuffed with the lemon cake, my father knows too. I hover around my father when he says he has to help the warden with a project after supper. I offer to go with him. I beg him, actually. I don't want to be left alone with my mom. But he says he can't take me. There's a problem in the cell house kitchen where I'm not allowed to go. Moose, my mom says, as soon as my father is gone. I have a lot of homework, I say. My mother nods. I can't bear this. It's in my head, the sentences. I plan to tell her the truth. I let my sister hold hands with a convict. They were alone together twice, 3 times. I don't even know how many. I was over there looking 6, 7 times. I wish I could make my mother understand how much more complicated this is than she thinks. But the only way to do this is to tell her what happened, which I can't seem to do. My mother doesn't yell at me about staying inside. No, not one critical word comes out of her mouth. She doesn't have to say anything. The air itself carries her blame. I feel it when I breathe. We both keep our space, never passing close to one another, like magnets set to repel. The next day, when the door closes behind my mother, Natalie says what she said all day long the day before, 105. No, Natalie, not today. Today we're doing buttons, I say. But the buttons aren't in her bureau drawer. They aren't on the top of the icebox or in the cupboard of the stove. They aren't in my mom's closet or the bread box either. I turn the place upside down, searching every door twice. But I know I won't find them because they aren't there. My mother has taken them with her. I didn't see her do this, but I know she has. The only thing I can do is keep Natalie inside. I look for cake. One slim piece of lemon is all that I can find. Half a piece, really. Natalie looks up at me. She has watched my feet as I have looked for her buttons. I can't tell her that I don't know where they are, but I know she knows that something is going on. Fine, I say, pulling open the drawer for the third time now. Fine. Well, I let the sentence drift off, and then I march to my room and I get my math books and I stack them by the door. We'll read math books all afternoon. I'll stand in front of the door. I won't let her pass. I'm stronger. I have 40, maybe 50 pounds on her. Natalie is rocking wildly like a little boat in a ship's wake. 105, she says. No, I say. Buttons, she says. Numbers, I say, cracking open the book and offering it to her. Look, Natalie, you can read about numbers. Buttons, 105. She's rocking crazy hard. But why not just let her throw a fit? Why try so hard? Outside, buttons, 105. She's spinning now. I try to ignore her. I open my book and I read the same sentence over and over. The meaning won't go into my head. Stop it, Natalie, I yell. But she's losing herself. The scream has started. It begins low, like a piece of machinery that needs time to warm up. Stop it, Natalie, I holler loud at her face. Stop being like this. Don't you see what you're doing? You're not a little kid. Stop acting like one. Do you have any idea what you're doing to us? To Mom, to Dad? You're making them old. They worry about you all the time. At least you can try. At least you can do that. Sometimes I think you don't even try. And I hate you for it, Natalie. We try so hard, and you don't. I hate you, Natalie. I do. A vase hits the rug, thumps hard but doesn't break. She's near the window now, twisting, banging feet, hands flailing at the floor. The more I yell, the more she screams, like we're trying to top one another. My shouts are full of words, hers are only the sound. Animal sounds, piercing and terrified. There's a banging outside. I see through the window that Mrs. Trixle's brand new red hair is short round Mrs. Capone, trying to see what's happening. I'm surprised she made it up the stairs so fast. Someone else is banging too. Moose, it's me, Teresa. Let me in. Open up, Moose. What's going on in there? Trixle calls. I can help. You need me? Teresa again. Teresa, go back inside, Trixle cries. Stop it. Stop it. I have my hands on Natalie's arms now. I want to shake her hard. My arms tremble with the effort not to. Natalie screams louder, and I look into those trapped eyes. Wherever she is, she can't get out, which only makes her scream louder, and suddenly I'm not angry anymore. Open the door, Moose. We're okay, I call through. I know how ridiculous this sounds. Please, Nat, don't do this. I run to the kitchen. How about some lemon cake, I plead. But she's well beyond lemon cake. She takes the cake, she mashes it in her hand, and she throws the plate against the wall, busting it into a billion pieces. Her whole body is moving in all directions, as if each limb has its own plan. All of a sudden, I remember what my mother used to do. I pick Natalie up, screaming and fighting, her skull bashing against my chin, and I set her as gently as I can on her back, on one corner of the rug. She's moving so wildly, she kicks me in the shin. Her hand boxes my ear. It's hard to keep her in one place, but I grab hold of her waist and I pin her down in the corner. I hold her there in the corner of the rug and roll tightly, gently, using my knees to keep her in. When the rug is all the way around her, I wait, and slowly the fight begins to leak out of her. With the tightness surrounding her, she feels safe and secure somehow. She lays shaking, grateful and forlorn on the stained red carpet. I breathe in the dust rug sweat smell. Mrs. Capone and Mrs. Trixel are still banging at the door. They have gotten Mrs. Madaman now. She's tall enough to see what's happening inside. She's holding baby Rocky. I ignore them and I talk to Natalie in a sweet, calm voice, as if she were a baby too. Natalie, how can I help you? Natalie is quiet, breathing hard. She's calm now, except for her eyes, which seem to be moving back and forth in her head, as if they are still searching for a way out. You're okay now, Natalie? I stroke her tangled hair, my hand brushing against her hot, wet forehead. Moose, Natalie, outside, she says. Oh, Natalie, I shake my head. Natalie says. What? Something in your eye? Her eyes have slowed down. I look to see if something is in them. I can't see anything. Yes, I know you were upset. That's why your eyes are moving around that way, I say. She says. She's calm now. I unroll the rug. She sits up. Both hands are on her chest, petting, as if she has a full coat of fur on. She says again. That's not your eye, Natalie, I say. That's your chest. Outside. You want to look outside? I check to see if B. Trixel and Mrs. Capone and Mrs. Madaman are still there. They're gone. Maybe they realized we were okay and went away. Or maybe they've gone to get a crowbar or my father. I look back at Natalie. Her face is scrunched up. It's crushed as if she wants me to understand, and I won't. Outside. She says it loud like I'm deaf. I say nothing. I don't know what she wants. Her face seems to close in with effort. I want to go outside, she finally says. We're working on pronouns. My mom said this. Pronouns. Natalie, who has never called herself anything but Natalie my whole life, just called herself I. Oh, I say, I want to go outside. My voice breaks. I want to go outside, she says, and the look of relief on her face as big as 30 states. I open the door then. I do. How could I not?